Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PWR Hot Tag, hashtag Hot Tag, where we look at the trending topics from Twitter from the week in professional wrestling. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside Linda Kay and David Hero. And this week, it is a highlight reel of sorts, as we're going to talk about the highlight reel from this past Monday night, which featured a memorable segment with Chris Jericho, of course, and the assistant supervisor.
It's about Jericho, The Miz, you had Wade Barrett.
It wasn't your turn to talk because Maddox, the main event.
Well,
Brad
you were
Maddox,
Maddoxing right there.
The main event of, no, I was actually going to frame it up and say it very nicely. But anyways, it was Brad Maddox who Adam-lead the segment, if you will, in my opinion. But Chris Jericho had this to say on Twitter after it happened. I've never been in a segment that has split opinions so decisively between quote-unquote awesome and quote-unquote awful. I'll go with quote-unquote fun. So, some speculation as to whether or not this was deliberate or not from WWE this past Monday night. No matter what, it came off as awkward, and then it's not the first time that Mr. Maddox has come off that way, so it makes you wonder, is it the way they wanted it to go?
I can't believe that they'd want him to look that terrible because it's an entertainment company now, and they take pride in the production value of their talent. I mean, they did the ditzy thing before with Maria Kanellis, where she was, the ditzy girl. But I can't imagine they would do that with Brad Maddox, the guy who's been kind of conniving and sneaky since they debuted in the company.
Mm-hmm. Linda Kay, how did you react when you watched it? I mean, my jaw was on the desk.
On the desk?
Well, I was shocked. I'm like, oh no, this was...
Thank God your desk was there on the floor.
Yeah.
I was just really confused and thinking...
Well, what do you think of Maddox?
As
you think he's
ref?
hot? You think he's cute?
No, this is a performer.
Or as a performer?
Yeah.
I guess up till Monday, I thought he was doing just
Monday
fine.
did it for you? You're done with him now?
No, I think I kind of like it.
You're texting him a breakup text?
No, it was a bit awkward, and whether it was intentional or not, you gotta wonder, are they going to continue? I mean, with this angle, just because like Jericho tweeted, half awesome, half awful. Some people really liked it, some didn't. It was really
It's going to come back
weird.
next week even better.
And people were talking
I want it
about
even worse. That's the thing. Whether it was intentional or not, I want them to go with it, and
Nice. Well, it was discussed again on Twitter all week long, and one of our colleagues, Brian Fritz, says, as strange as the highlight reel segment was, I think that's exactly what WWE wanted out of it. Now, I don't know.
But why would you want to have three of your upper mid-card guys in a segment that is so unfulfilling, that doesn't make sense, that's just a train wreck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and going
because
into
Jericho
the break.
deserves better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Miz is a former WWE champion, and Barrett, he's the current IC champ. It's like, why would you do that to those three talents? Was it a test to see how Barrett would handle it? I mean, Jericho, was just fine with it, and Miz looked a little puzzled, but overall, I can't believe they would honestly want to do that on purpose.
See, that makes me wonder, too, because you would think that Jericho or Miz, as animated as they are, would have, came back with something more than that, other than just being kind of like,
well, Jericho
Chuck,
did.
Just went,
I mean, he made fun of it.
I know, but just going to the break,
the
they just went.
Jericho's been gone for a long time now, which was funny because earlier in the segment he referenced, they raised it up for some reason. That whole thing, and that right there, because I don't make mistakes like that, that right there shows you maybe it was part of a plan, and maybe it was.
But why would Jericho acknowledge it?
To point it out. Acknowledge it when Maddox did it, or when the Juritron went up?
When the Juritron went up.
To me, it reminded me that it went up earlier in the segment, so when Maddox mentioned it, it's like, well, it's already gone. What do you mean raise it? It raised before because Jericho told us it did.
Well, it could be.
Now, you missed Jericho on Raw last week. He's back on Raw this week in a talkable segment, or a segment worth talking about, was did it fulfill your needs, if you will, Jericho being back? Because at the end of the day, he really didn't do much.
I don't know if he brings that much more back to the table right now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's now number 10 from the top at best on the Raw brand. If you got Rock, and you got Cena, and you got Punk, and you got Taker, and you got Brock, and you got Triple H, is Jericho even...
He can easily be, though.
Is Jericho number 7?
He can easily be in that top.
But then you got Ryback, and you got Randy Orton. So Jericho might be top 10 right now.
Put him in the right situation, maybe it ends up going
Sheamus
back
and Del Rio, he's not top 10 right now. And
Maybe-
Swagger, he's
maybe
not.
it goes back to
he's top
the
15.
matchup that was teased, at least between he and Ziggler at WrestleMania.
That's what I was just going to say. After when Jericho came back to the Rumble, and then they had a
That
few matches
match
with
isn't going to
Raw.
happen.
Why
Well,
not?
that's what a lot of people
Jericho and
wanted.
Ziggler will not happen at WrestleMania.
Why not?
Because there's other plans. Because we just saw how it's going to go with Ziggler and Big E on Raw, how they teased it with Kane and Daniel Bryan. That's their direction.
Still a couple of weeks, though. Could happen.
You know what? Jericho's going to be in a three-way with Miz and Wade Barrett. That's where that's going to wind up. Or maybe
Brad
it's
Maddox
Jericho and Brad
involved at all?
Maddox. Who
He
knows?
could put his ref shirt back on.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah.
He's been getting a lot of TV time each week on WWE. Raw has Maddox. What does that mean for you, David Hero?
It means he's one of the lower paying guys on the company, and if he has a guarantee, they can bring him in every week.
But they don't have to use him. I mean, I'm sure there are
Well, if he has
lower
X
paid
number of
people
dates.
who are sitting in the locker room.
I'm
each
kidding.
night.
You know what it is right now, Vicky needs a young boy.
I'm sorry?
Vicky needs a young boy. An assistant. There you go.
An
As the
undersecretary?
assistant.
Sure.
Well, that's this week's hashtag hot tag, ladies and gentlemen. I'll remind you, tomorrow night, it's a big 15-year anniversary broadcast of the Pro Wrestling Report on television in Milwaukee, on My 24 Milwaukee. Our guest sitting here in this very studio will be big, sexy Kevin Nash. We're going to talk about his WrestleMania
Will you
memories.
put up the wolf packs?
And we're going to talk about his time at WrestleMania before we go into, in subsequent weeks, match by match, looking at the main event and the big matches at WrestleMania. And definitely going to be some intriguing insights shared by Kevin Nash. So do us a favor, subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Report here on YouTube right now so that you get each episode delivered to your email inbox. And also visit us at pwrshow.com, where you can get your tickets right now for the PWR weekend festivities, including the PWR Hall of Fame with King Kong Bundy and X and Smash with Demolition, and also the shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle Party. For that one, and Linda Kay, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Primetime.